And because I'm thinking, like, who's the one that pays for all those police departments coming out there? Did National City say, like, oh, you know, you don't have to pay us? Is the sheriff paying everybody? Is La Mesa paying everybody to come out and do it?
So every city probably did pay their own, because so local, city, and state governments, they cannot run a debt, or they can't draw for credit lines. So like at the beginning of the year, they set their budget, right?
Yeah.
And if the police spend more than they're supposed to, then the city can draw funds from other places and move it, but they can't end up taking more than they had signed the budget for.
I partly think that even in the first time, the sheriff was the one that said, hey, we'll take over. You guys don't have this experience. There's no way. I mean, it already came out that those cops didn't have riot control training.
Yep.
And there's just no way La Mesa PD is trained. None of them were probably trained for riot control stuff.
Well, that night in La Mesa, none of them were La Mesa PD.
They were all the sheriff.
That whole line was sheriff. Even on the steps around, 7:30, that was all sheriff.
And I think the La Mesa City is kind of trying to cover for the sheriff.
Yeah.
And because the sheriff called in, you know, Border Patrol,
right,
because I think that they wasted all their munitions the first day. They must have not had that much, you know what I mean? Because
so 2 days after La Mesa PD put out a rec and got it approved to buy $200,000 worth of riot control munitions.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty sure that they shot that much at us that night. And they were either re-upping what they used or getting a little more on top of it for next time, you know?
And it's so crazy that it came out how many people asked for the Border Patrol to help that first weekend.
Yeah.
And what was stupid of them was the next day in downtown, they posted a picture of them outside where like all the trash was. 4 of them, you know, like army. They looked like they were in the army, and you know, they were kneeling with their guns out and stuff. It was so real. And the Border Patrol, like chief or whatever of that division, was the one who tweeted it out.
Of course.
And you know, they had to delete it, but KPBS had grabbed it and was able, like, did a small piece on it. And then in Santee, we saw them the next weekend.
I missed that first weekend in Santee.
They were just like, I was surprised. I hadn't seen them, you know, I didn't think that they would be there, and they were.
Who's that?
Border Patrol.
Okay.
Yeah. I work with an NGO who does work at the border.
Which NGO?
Border Angels. Yeah.
Do you know Kirsten? Or
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it loud?
A lawyer, right?
Yeah. Super blonde.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah, but fuck, man. Border Patrol, it's so much worse than anybody even knows. Even that fucking Netflix documentary.
Oh, that's what they let out.
That's what they thought was okay to do.
Yes.
Like even though the story ended up being different than what Border Patrol thought, they still thought that was okay to do in front of people.
Not only that,
fascist, yeah.
they let that out. There's no way that they didn't say, okay, you can put that out on Netflix. So that's what they said is acceptable to be on Netflix.
Well, they challenged it.
They
and
did.
then it was like the original contract they had. It's like, nah, dude, you gave us the permission and then you did the shit.
But it's still
I believe
nowhere
that they cut out a lot of stuff that they probably should have got. And I think the officers are crazy for going and putting their faces. I was like, the people who are blurred are the smart ones, because you should not have your face on this right now.
Did you see the first episode where they're talking about collaterals?
Yeah.
And he's like, he gets a call from his officer, and the officer's like, yo, you got to bring in 3 targets. I don't care what you say.
I mean,
and he's like, you know, you were filming with us? And the guy, the camera goes nod, and he's like, that's a dumb fucking thing to say. You know?
So wild.
Well, I mean, Border Patrol is filled with pretty much the most violent individuals
At least
our society has.
Well, it's crazy
they're
because
not smart enough. They can't even be federal special agents because they're not smart enough to investigate anything. They can only arrest people. We
enforce the laws.
So, like, let's say an actual quote good border patrol officer witnesses a crime, they can't even fucking investigate. Like, they can't.
You have to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy that they've gone through like 5 acting chiefs of the DHS, and then the Chad Wolf isn't even supposed to be there and is illegally there, and it just keeps operating like it's whatever.
Yep. Which is why I keep telling people you gotta fucking prep for like November 15th.
Well, I think even the first night is going to be crazy because he's trying to say they're going to put sheriffs out at polls, and that's just it's going to make people go wild. Those first few nights and that first weekend, because they're not going to declare a winner. And if they...
Well, they will.
Oh, you think they'll say Trump? What do you
Trump
think
will
will
try.
happen? You think he'll
come out
say?
and
Yeah, he'll say he won.
Yeah.
I could.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Do you own a gun?
No.
I've been recommending people learn how to shoot at least. Maybe you don't have to buy one, but like it's good to know how to use one.
See,
Because
I've been debating.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of pussies though. You saw them at when they said
Yeah, they are. But like that's the scary thing. Is people who are more afraid bring a gun to a fight. They bring a knife to a fight because they know they can't win it fair. Like, they are the ones who scare me because I know they'll just fucking walk out from like a corner here, pop off a couple shots, and then run.
Well,
I mean, it's like fucking Ryan McAdams. I know on one of your feeds, like, you were following him, laughing, yelling at him. Like, he hit that girl, and then he fucking ran.
Yeah. Well, and what's scary is it's getting more and more like militant from their side, and we're kind of trying to keep up. But the more you have, the more you're an actual like group, the more they'll label you as like gang and stuff. You know what I mean? But it's just so weird.
I have a couple of people here in the Defending County group, and a couple of the other ones, like the Exiled Patriots and the American Front, and they're fucking insane. Like, they're fucking insane.
Yeah.
And they just recently started to drink that QAnon Kool-Aid.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Come November's gonna be a crazy time.
I wish I had some sort of it's so good.
Socially distancing is the right thing to do. So I ask you all, in closing, to support the World Health Organization. This isn't just a community problem, this is a global community problem. already probably on its way. Right? Write to leaders in your community and tell them we have to stop. We have to support that is going to back. Educate your family, yourselves, your friends. When you hear a conspiracy theory, it's usually believed it's born out of fear. Educate people with the knowledge they need about what this disease really is. Wear your mask. Social distance. Because the only way that we're going to get through this is together and helping one another.
Thank you, everyone. I'm now going to read a speech by someone who could not be here. How's volume? Do people want me to use the megaphone? Yeah. Let's bring it in a little, too. Bring it in a little. Let's just take over this whole... Bring it on in, everyone. Thank you. You guys free to take a seat? One moment, everyone, while I get the speech. So this is a speech. This is a speech from a friend of mine. A speech from a friend of mine that I want to share with you all. There is no time to edit this message because in this split second I may have to run for my life. Right now, I'm working around the clock through this state as a medical disaster responder. Until these times, I was
Test, test. We want to offer a free drink to young adults who have lost loved ones to COVID or are grieving in the process. That groups are a wonderful way to connect with others that are sharing the same experience or experiences so that you don't feel so alone. All right, thank you. Another thing, one of my best friends works at Elizabeth Hospice. She works with the dying and those who are left behind. She has taught me a lot about the importance of grief, about how crucial it is to have a shared space to acknowledge loss, about the value of a ritual in order to mourn what has been left behind. We aren't getting that right now. There is none of that direction from leadership. None of that space is being made and held in public for us to collectively acknowledge and mourn. I want to emphasize the damage that this does to communities on an individual, family, and collective level. This is something that is so critical for us to heal as human beings, and particularly the fact that so many of these deaths did not have to happen. This was an utterly preventable catastrophe. And I want to emphasize that COVID-19 is not the central issue. COVID-19 was the stress test, and the for-profit healthcare system, the capitalistic exploitative measures that govern the entire way that our society functions, they have failed us. Our politicians have failed us. With their mealy-mouthed appeasing to Black Lives Matter and to all of these causes while they vote all for their donors, there is nothing that they have done to show that they actually support us as we are struggling to find a way to survive. One of the other populations that I spent an extensive amount of time studying was those who are incarcerated. Currently, at least within the last few days, the last that I read about it, the worst COVID-19 outbreak in the world is taking place at San Quentin Prison in California. There's a reason that we are not hearing about these things, because systems have classified so many, in particular Black and brown and poor people, as less than human. Being routinely dehumanized by these systems on an individual and broad systemic national level has multi-generational consequences for trauma. There is no way that an apology, that things being righted miraculously tomorrow, if it magically went away, that would not atone for the sins of this nation over the course of decades and centuries and generations. This is a thing that needs to be deconstructed from the ground up. This can be a no tolerance, this is not a moderate issue. You cannot compromise with those who view you as less than a person. The last thing that I want to say, and I did not plan to say anything at all, so pardon me, right? The last thing I want to say is that one of my main specialties has been trauma. I see a lot of trauma, particularly in the minority communities in which I work.
Who here feels safe? Who here feels stable? Who feels like they know that they are going to be okay and supported tomorrow? Who here feels a sense of community that actually has monetary support behind it to do the things that we need for one another? We cannot heal from this trauma until we reach that first step. And that is not the end, that is the beginning of the journey. I am so angry every day, and it is not even something that I have to face as directly as many of my colleagues, my clients, my friends, some of my family. At a certain point, words fail. There is no way to succinctly or accurately or completely summarize the damage that this has done. The depths of pain that we're all experiencing is not acceptable. I am relieved that other people are still showing up months later, that they are just as angry, that they are willing to yell and cause trouble and inconvenience people. That is the only way that we are going to be able to make progress. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being patient with such.
Lastly, before we have our moment of silence, I want to say that this is for us. That there is a lot of performative allyship running around San Diego and the world right now. And that this space is for us. There are thousands of people in New York for this same protest.
I'll beat your ass up. Fuck these niggas out here, bitch. Bitch. I'll start again, bitch. What's the real ass, bitch? You bitch.
Man, if I was almost at the everybody's night just strolling around here. Trying to It's a one-man protest right there.
I don't know where it is.
We're about to leave. We're about to leave.
Oh, y'all leave?
So, I don't understand it most of the time. I understand something. Like, I know on the first, they were watching a few of our live streams.
When on
Mesa?
the very first day.
No, the one that was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
They were watching our live streams.
Yeah.
They were figuring out where we were.
And that's why they told us don't live stream. We went and we're not live streaming. We were unlisted just because my wife, just in case my wife, this is a secret lodge, just in case. And so, I know that they were watching like two. It was like Arturo and another guy was on Facebook. Yeah, and you had sent me those. Thank you. because I didn't know that they were going that deep.
I just got sent this today.
That's crazy.
Like they just decided today or yesterday that they were going to start trying to do that more because we've been doxing them.
I mean, I would hope that we're better though. You know what I mean?
They haven't ID'd anybody. Anybody that hasn't live streamed and put their fucking name on it.
Right.
And they go, oh yeah, the person live streaming is this person. No, they haven't ID'd anybody.
Yeah, my name, it's pretty hard to
KC?
find. Huh?
You know KC?
Yeah.
So they know KC.
They know him for
because he's
sure.
pretty-
He's notable.
You
You
know
can
who he
see
is.
him anywhere, and then he was the first one on the very first La Mesa protest.
Yeah.
But I don't think they realized that.
Oh no, they do.
Oh, they do. They
Yeah.
know it was him.
Fucking Ogden.
Roger
you ever go on
Ogden.
his blog?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
He just like yesterday or something posted about Casey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Casey and
But he's-
I can't. One other person. I think he got his feelings hurt that the cops made him leave,
Right.
and he just
Well, and he's been on Tasha Williamson's ass for a while
yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. But the funny thing is, Casey is ex-military, so I don't know why they're like,
Well, so that's what Ogden was getting on his case about.
oh, really?
He's saying, this man's like ex-military police, and fucking blah blah blah.
They
whatever.
hate the fact that there's a lot of people in the military that
Yeah.
don't agree with
Oh, they
what they
absolutely
think.
hate it.
I would say
People
it's
are in
almost
it, and
split.
that's- yeah.
It was almost split, maybe a little bit less, maybe like 60-40. But there's I know a lot of people that are in the military. Like one of our hosts is ex-Army Reserve.
Yeah.
And his fiance is currently in the military. So it's like,
I mean, I would say the majority of people in the military are probably on this side, but they can't well, can't's the wrong word. They won't say anything.
Well,
Publicly.
I wouldn't. I know it's tough for them to do
Yeah.
it though. So it's better to not say anything
Right.
at all.
Yeah. So I think the reason why it feels like it swings the other way is because those fucking people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They'll be outspoken about it. At least that's my hope.
I don't know. I think that DEC is gonna end up really hurting someone, and we're gonna have all these receipts of months and months of these people saying all this stuff.
Oh, and that's all we've been doing in their fucking Facebook group is every time someone talks about killing someone or running someone over, we screenshot it, we save it with their name, put it away. Just fucking wait, you know?
Because they need to be
That's
careful.
premeditation.
Well, and it's like a gang.
are a
It's
gang.
literally the fucking KKK.
Yeah.
It's the
That white truck
KKK.
that showed up at the end
Yeah.
2 weeks ago? Guy lives like half a mile away from me. I found out his name, his address, walked over there, saw his truck. Yeah.
You're good.
I don't want to touch your bag. But
Oh, hey, your bag's
Oh,
open.
really?
yeah,
Yeah.
just the
Thank you, I appreciate it. It's like the worst design to pocket.
Yes, yes. So we need to make sure you go take pictures of it
They're gonna do something.
Totally.
Oh, they're the KKK, but just,
Unplug that.
I mean, the way that in every city you see it. I mean, in up in Sacramento, there's a place called Nevada City, and it's like, I mean, once you get above Sacramento, it's like it's mountains. You know what I mean? It's just the hills, and so, I mean, you get a lot of, people who are testy,
Oh, for sure.
and then
Yeah,
they.
I have family that lives outside of Sac.
Yeah. And they, Nevada City is like a rural town, basically. It's almost like Julian or
Yeah.
something. And so they were marching out there, and they were fighting them, basically like La Mesa, but I mean, almost worse.
actually
Almost worse, yeah. And I mean, of course, no one said anything. It was the weekend before, like Portland had it, and then they were in Stone Mountain and in Michigan all in the same day. And in Portland, it's getting way worse. The guy going out and throwing pipe bombs, and then supposedly there's going to be a bunch of them tomorrow on Saturday, like hundreds of them.
We'll see.
And so I mean,
At least Portland's fucking ready for it. Like,
yeah.
they've
I
been
mean,
doing Antifa stuff for years, right? Anytime there's a fucking fast food, they say, hey, how you doing? I mean, that's why they've done so well so far.
they've got to be wearing their asses out, man. Like that's the whole point now is for them to wear them out as much as they can.
Well, but it goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Because, and this is why I think it's beneficial for San Diego to get caught up because Portland's going to run out of money.
Yeah.
And Portland City Council is going to say, we're not going to fucking pay you to shoot our citizens anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to throw us out.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that mayor's gone. That he's done.
Fucking gone.
I can't believe, and it's crazy because he has so much more power than most mayors because he's a fucking chief of police. Like he could just tell them to stop. So the political games are crazy.
Oh, it's insane how he'll come out and go, oh, I don't approve of this and blah, blah, blah.
Get tear gas.
Tear gas. And then he leaves.
And then
fucking Portland PD shows up. They're like, we're declaring this a riot. They're shooting people again.
well, they were fucking with the ICE building yesterday.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, I saw that,
so
yeah.
the feds were back out messing with them. And then the dude Chad Wolf, he gave an interview. He said, the interviewer asked him, "Are you going to do that in other cities?" And he said, "Or if you could do it again, what would you do differently?" He said, "The only thing I would do differently is change the uniforms,
Okay.
so they're not camouflage.
Right.
But I would do the exact same thing, of course."
And we need shit like that everywhere, though.
Yeah,
Because
it's true.
There's not that many border patrol agents, and there's not that many federal agents, and there's honestly not that many police, officers or military. Like I think all in all, there's like 2.3 million officers, or like enlisted officers, police, and federal agents. That's it. That's one for every like 110.
Oh, we could easily do it.
Yeah.
That's why it was funny in the first weekend.
gotta spread 'em out.
They had a difficult time deploying the National Guard and everyone
Yeah.
that first weekend.
There's not enough. of
They
them.
couldn't do it. No.
Like that's our strength is being able to spread things out so much.
The media
gotta
did a
be
good, but the
smart.
media did a fucking good job of not showing. What they stopped showing it and it just went.
Yep, that was it.
And they were smart too because they stopped showing the live stream on the helicopters, so people can't look it up and be like they're out there, because that's what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they stopped
Oh yeah,
doing
for a
that.
while I would even just look for the helicopter.
Yeah,
Like, show
yeah.
up somewhere, it's like, okay, where's the helicopter? Let's walk that way.
Well, and so but that's the thing is the SDPD handled it the best out of
Yeah.
almost
Started
everywhere.
ignoring them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and almost like do it and then we'll help you. We'll just block traffic
Right.
sometimes, you know?
Yep.
Chula Vista PD did show up in unmarked cars today, though. So I thought that was a little weird, but I mean, El Cajon PD on 4th of July, they didn't do anything.
No,
And-
they're pretty safe.
And I don't think they'll pull that many people out for the next La Mesa one if they go back. But I think come November, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's when they might start throwing shit at people.
Well, either that or another, what is it? I think only like another week or two, like the last of the eviction, whatever,
Oh, it's
ban
yeah,
that.
really.
And so there's going to be more
This-
people
yeah.
with more of a reason to be pissed off.
And so it's been good that people have been learning, even in San Diego.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that
Well, 'cause, like, even though it seems to kind of like, this is as many people as they can fucking get out. These people know what they're doing. So if there's a shitload of people, you spread all these people throughout the crowd, and they can yell, encouraging things at the other protesters. Like, okay, yeah, they're tossing grenades, but like, it's not that big of a deal. Just walk. Don't sprint. You don't have to be afraid.
Well, I think like when the Leonardo Ibarra shooting happened, that was good.
That was great.
So we'll see if that happens again. And SDPD did really good actually not doing something. So I mean, and they knew too they probably looked at the body cam footage but that's the point is they released it right away. That's what people want anyway is transparency. I don't know if they wouldn't have released it if it weren't so cut and
Well,
dry.
they still didn't release all of it. Like, that's my gripe. They released one clip from a guy across the street when it was happening. And then the second clip was from a guy there, but after it had occurred.
Right.
And there were more than 2 officers there,
Right.
including the officer who eventually killed him.
Yeah, so it was
But yeah.
if there's been a few times where I thought they might start throwing shit, but they haven't. The next time I think they might is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think they might at
Down
Oakland
there?
Mesa.
Maybe.
You don't think they will?
It depends. So the only time I've seen them arrest people and roll out their fucking riot line is after dark. So it depends how late people are staying.
Okay.
That's really it. And I'm not getting the
no.
vibe that people are gonna stay late.
No.
It seems like some really short planned thing.
It's 2:30 to 6:30.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too is there's a lot of people who were they've done good at scaring people. I was telling my wife this. They did a good job at putting out a lot of disinformation. I think right from the beginning.
And the organizers did.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you constantly convince protesters that there needs to be security, or that like you have to be careful about coming out, like people see you, you
Yeah.
get arrested.
Yeah.
Like people aren't gonna come out.
Yeah.
As we're seeing today, like the only people who are out today are people who are running this. The white in the security, the yellow who I don't remember remember, but like that's it.
Right.
The people in black are friends with all the people in the white. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no one else.
And it was just like that in Chula Vista too. I mean,
I was gonna ask you that.
it was the same. It's about the same size.
It's
And-
overplanned.
It's yeah. People are trying to do too much instead of sitting there and saying, "Let's come and this is here."
Right.
Like
Don't let
Portland,
the people do it.
they did a good job of okay, we're coming here. We're gonna meet here every night. We're meeting
So
here.
it's in the
We're
same
meeting
place.
here.
You know we'll be here. But like besides that, there's no plan. There's no one running around that whole group in Portland going do this, do that. Like
Well, they do have groups that try, and they have beef. They beef.
Yeah.
But they have enough people out there to say, well, we're gonna be out there and go here all the time, no matter what. And I mean, the feds did fuck up because they pulled it back together. Portland wouldn't have been going this strong, even though the PPD was fucking with them a lot. Their numbers were going down. Yeah.
Yeah, it revitalized them. Yeah.
But they did a really good job of just like pushing and okay, we're not gonna show it. They're really bad. I swear there's so many more bots on the internet right now just pushing crazy stuff. And they ran a really good disinformation campaign.
It's like the worst time and the best time for all this to happen because it's COVID. A lot of people aren't home, aren't working. A lot of people are pissed off. A lot of people are dying, making more people pissed off. So it's a great time to get out, get more people to protest. But it's also the worst time because there's a lot of people at home. So what are they doing during the day when they're bored? They're surfing the fucking web,
Right.
eating up disinformation,
Yeah.
propaganda, and weird fucking conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I can't believe that they put out
nobody's wearing masks.
a couple. Yeah, I see two. Oh. See, this is like, yeah, we should have been pulling at least these numbers. I also think it's like American culture in a way right now to like something's hot and then something's not. So
Yeah.
it's just people are kind of tired of it. You
Well,
know?
and they've made it not hot. It's always the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And
especially
you know what
here.
It's gonna be like.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like this, and then we're gonna go home.
Yeah. It's
People aren't excited to do that.
Well, that's why getting them to throw shit at people would be good. But it's not gonna happen because the people who organize it it's already been predetermined that no one's gonna have it. I heard they were trying to shut down the Coronado Bridge in October. San Diego Unity. You don't like them?
I would never get on that goddamn road.
You wouldn't?
No, there's no way off it.
Supposedly they're gonna get the okay.
Well, then it's not a protest.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the reason I don't like you.
Right,
They
'cause
always look at the fucking cops. And
Yeah.
try to make it calm and controlled.
They did really good with this. Yeah, they did really good with the Santee one. The first, that was them.
Second or third
But
week,
they
right?
did the mayor one too. But I mean, they do. Like,
They
do
did the
work.
mail run, so I was there that night. When they left, some guy walked up on the megaphone and was like, all right, anybody who stays here after is a fucking audience taker.
Yeah, yeah.
That was actually the night that I met some of the people that I did. Like, we all stayed after. It's like, fuck that.
Yeah, we were there for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it's been odd. And I do have, like, I have a lot of, I question a lot of things, you know what I mean? And what people are really wanting to do. Because at this point, it is just walking around.
That's all it is.
And it's not, it's become so small. No one,
This is just a group of people doing something that Zach's doing.
and this group is doing it better right now.
Yeah, I want that.
and they did good. They just been waiting it out, and all the city places just been quiet and quiet, and it worked. It's working out. Well, like I said, I think November is gonna heat up like hot, but I don't know.
I feel like we should just find some group to beat it up. You know there's some crazy motherfuckers going around out here. Maybe not here, but
I just don't know. I don't know why.
I mean, that's all it took in the Mesa, is just a couple people throwing rocks.
Yeah, they started going crazy.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know how they started with Vons. We came around when they started breaking into Vons, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like
I
right
was on
when they
the
started
other
doing
side.
it.
I wasn't on the bond side, I was on the bank side. Yeah.
And then we left and came back, and
Yeah.
then that's when they were breaking into the chase.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting there though how it happened, and like the chase and the Union Bank both getting hit, and I just thought it was all weird when it was
I
happening.
got a really weird vibe.
Okay, when they were saying to go to grocery sets when they were breaking stuff, I thought that was a cop thing, hella bad. Because we drove to Grossmont Center, there was no one there. Then we drove back later, and there were some windows messed up. It was weird.
Yeah. I live in El Cajon, so like when I was driving home that night, there were at least 40 cop cars surrounding Parkway Plaza. Yeah. Because I drove by there because I wanted to see what was going on. Because again, in La Mesa, I heard people at one point going, oh, we're going to go break into Parkway Plaza.
Oh, you were here in Parkway Plaza.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Grossmont too.
Grossmont.
So I heard Parkway
Yeah,
Plaza.
and we heard Fashion Valley too. But it was, to me, after when we were talking about it, I thought it was a way to break people up. I thought it was a good way to say, go and get people to break up.
Right.
And because they weren't doing anything. They were not doing anything for an hour. Like nothing.
Yeah.
The cops weren't doing anything. They were just letting people break into stuff. It was weird.
Right?
It was weird.
They just watched.
Yeah.
They let it happen. They let them light the buildings on fire. And then the police, or the fire department, is 500 feet away from the chase.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
It's like not even as far as from here to that key. Like, and they couldn't put out that fire?
And they were tired too. Like the sheriffs, they were like bending over. It was hilarious. Okay, so I'm that way. I'm gonna go, man.
I'm not way.
All right, man.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Are you going tomorrow?
I'm gonna be late. I volunteer out in the desert every Saturday, but I'm gonna drive straight there on my way home.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. I'll see you then. Okay. All right, man. All right. So look at these are the people that are beating us right now. Why? We're getting beat.